Hey, welcome back to Boxes and Bubbles, where today we're going to try something a bit different. Usually when I make a video, I write a big long script and I sit in a small cupboard so that the sound doesn't go weird, and I read it into the microphone, and then later I put the images of the comic over the audio so that you can see what the book looks like. This time I want to try talking just to the camera. The reason for that is the comic that I read this time, I can't really show you without spoiling the entire thing. And also, this way might be a bit faster, so I could put out videos more often. So I'm going to give it a shot and see how it goes. If people like it, or if some people watch it, maybe I'll keep doing it, and if not, maybe I'll go back to the old style, I don't know. Also, this video, like I said before, I can't really show you the comic without spoiling it, and I guess I can't really talk about it without spoiling it. So it's going to be a spoiler video this time. So I'm not using my usual microphone, but at the moment I don't have a desk, so it's just going to be me standing here like this. The sound might sound a bit funny, and there's also like a ventilation hole in the wall. I can't really avoid the sound from that, so this is how it's going to be for now. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so what I want to talk about today is the Darkhold. This is a comic from Marvel, and thanks to not having a desk, we have to be a bit lo-fi. Here's a tablet that I use to read my comics. The writer of this one is Ryan North. The artist is Guillermo Sanna. The color artist is Ian Herring. Letters and production are by VC's Clayton Cowles. So Darkhold is a new series from Marvel. I think the Darkhold itself, which is some kind of skin-bound book, might not be new in the Marvel universe. It might be a relic that's been around before. But as some of you might know, I'm relatively new to comics and don't know the deepest of deep lore, so it's new to me. So the Darkhold is this book that's made of skin, and if you read it, you go crazy. I think you can also use it to summon some kind of demon entity thing. It's pretty much like Marvel's Cthulhu. A bunch of people were fighting over this book. Scarlet Witch, Doctor Doom, and a bunch of other people. Why they want it? It's not quite clear to me. Maybe they want to summon this demon thing. But the issue I want to talk about is number one. After reading the alpha, I wasn't entirely sure I was along for this ride, but after reading the Darkhold Iron Man story, I'm so on board. It is disgusting. It's wonderful. This issue goes back to way at the beginning of Iron Man, his origin story pretty much, which actually I've never read myself. But don't worry, it's not going to retell you the whole thing, because this is a very different take on the Iron Man origin story. So what I learned from this book is that at some point Tony Stark was kidnapped by some people, and they wanted to force him to build some weapons of mass destruction. Tony was too smart for them and made his iron suit. But in this version of the story, Tony can't survive outside the iron suit. And Pepper comes in to find him laying on the floor in this iron suit. You know, it's like a metal robot suit. It doesn't look like the Iron Man suit that we know now. It's like a grey metallic suit thing. And he can't get out because he'll die. So he tells Pepper not to worry, and he starts to make some adjustments to the suit. After that, when he tries to take off the gauntlet, his flesh has all melded to the gauntlet and it's stuck there. And when he takes it off himself, underneath is just muscle and it's all mangled and it's hideous. So what the AI had done is decided that the metal was a better replacement for skin than actual skin, and started to mold his flesh to that iron gauntlet, which was foul. So Tony decides he needs to make some adjustments and he'll be fine. Along the way though, he begins to agree with the AI and think that yeah, actually metal is much better than skin. It's much stronger, it's much more durable, you're not going to take any damage. And then he begins to think that maybe bones and, you know, your skull is useless. Maybe it's better just to have this iron housing around it. So gradually he starts to dissolve his body and become this like mass of organs inside this iron suit. It's really horrible. And what I liked about this so much is that it's just creepy. To me, when your body starts to decompose or you start to lose pieces of it, it's somehow dehumanizing. Even though you're still a human, if you have your brain, it just feels like you're losing part of yourself, and that makes me feel gross. Movies like The Fly and Cube, also there's a part in Cube where somebody's scratching their hand and they just, all their skin is sloughing off. It's horrible. That kind of thing makes me feel so gross, so I really enjoyed this. Later on, Tony decides to lock down his science lab, and he doesn't allow Pepper or Jarvis, who is, I found out, his, at the time, butler, he doesn't let them come into the room anymore. And what he does is he replaces, his entire skin with this iron suit, and it's horrible because parts of his flesh are poking out between the seams. He's like gushing some kind of white plasma or something, and he decides that this is how he's going to live his life. Then he opens the door and allows some of his friends to come inside, and he has made suits for them, and he forces them into the suit, and it bonds to them, and it's painful, and they're getting like, you know, their bodies are being deconstructed, they're being made into like these Iron Men. And then he decides what he wants to do is make some more of these suits, because they will cure every sickness and every illness. Because with your body, you know, you're just your organs now, and you can be repaired by the AI. So he does that and takes them outside and offers them to the people outside, saying like, oh, look at these amazing bodies that we've made for you. Like, if you use this, then you'll never get sick again. And people are lining up to take the bodies. And Pepper's locked inside the office screaming through the window like, don't get in the suit, don't get in the suit. And that's how it ends, with like this new like production line starting of these bodies that people are going to take. It's really horrible. And I loved it. It was amazing. The writing is amazing, like the dialogue is really good. And also the art, yeah, it just feels gross and slimy. And what's nice about it is that in between some of the pages, there's panels from the original Iron Man comic, you know, back in the day when he was becoming Iron Man. And you can see the juxtaposition of what happened then and what's happening now. I really enjoyed that as somebody who's never read the old Iron Man comics, because personally for me I find comics from the 60s just way too cheesy. It was interesting to see the origin of Iron Man, but also this horrible dark take on Iron Man. So after I read the alpha issue of Darkhold, I wasn't sure that I was on board, but after this one, oh my goodness, yeah, I want to read the others. So at the back of this issue, we got a list that shows us the others that are upcoming. So we'll have Blade, Wasp, Black Bolt, Spider-Man, and the Darkhold Omega, which I guess will tie everything together at the end. Black Bolt is a character I don't know myself, and the Wasp is also a character I don't know super well. But Blade and Spider-Man, wow, I want to see what horrible things they can pull out the bag for that one. So yeah, this was awesome. Maybe you don't need to read the alpha issue to actually understand this, but I think they will all tie together somehow in the Omega issue coming at the end. So it might be worth checking out just in case, but really if you want a horrible Iron Man story just in time for Halloween, check this one out because it's great. And I guess that's all for this one. I really enjoyed that, so I might make another one. I hope you enjoyed it too, and if you enjoyed watching it, please make sure to check out the rest of the channel for other comic book reviews. And follow along at Boxes and Bubbles on Twitter to read a bunch of reviews of other comics I didn't have time to make videos about. But that's all for today. See you later!